Yo, 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 what's up, everyone? Reptile here, and I'm with Synergistic.
Hi, everybody.
And we got another episode of Mystery Commander Theater 100. Here are the commanders. Why don't you tell us about them, Synergistic?
Yeah, so we have Dr. Whiskey playing Kess, which is a turbo unofficial deck. I'm playing Karametra, which won the last couple games. It's a stacks deck.
Yep, I'm playing Earl Landfall, and Bad Kitty is playing Rocco Creature Turbo. So here are the opening hands. What about Dr. Vuski's? What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's a pretty good hand, especially with Kess. Intuition's a really good card that synergizes with it. A couple answers here and there. All of the nations can be an answer plus a tutor, so not bad. Myself playing Karametra again. We'll be having a stacks piece, very impactful stacks piece with Grafdigger's Cage and Hushbringer, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, those are really good. I think they hit everyone at the table, so really good and early. I kept a hand with a lot of mana, a lot of ramp, and a Rampaging Baloth as my top end, so I feel really good about this one. Bad Kitty had a multi 6, but found a pretty good hand with the Seiju, Mana Crypt. You can draw with Elvish Visionary, get another elf with the Tutor Elf that costs 3 mana. I forgot its name. But a lot of mana, and Rocco is really good with that mana, able to tutor out all the creatures that you need for it. So. I think we'll just get into the game. So going first, we have Dr. Vuski, I believe. Or no, it's you.
It's me.
It
yeah.
is you.
I won the
look at that! Look at that beautiful green bar. So draw for turn, and given the opening hands, this is a no-brainer. Turn 1 Grafdigger's Cage hits everyone at the table. Very first action of the game. Everyone hates to see it. I put a Birds of Paradise, discard this forest because I can actually get it back with Life from the Loam, and then I just set up my board. 4 mana, pass over to Bad Kitty with Rocco. The Seiju, Mana Crypt. So here, decide what he's going to go for. He's going to go for the Elvish Harbinger. Okay, that's what it's called. So Elvish Harbinger. Trying to remember what he gets. Priest of Titania. Really good hit, especially since I have an elf. Dr. Vuski, Mana Vault pass, and back to you. Going with this. Now you actually have a good way to filter, so you can have everything castable. And unfortunately, this Arbor Elf does not have a forest to tap, but Alison's Pilgrim also covering the white cost. So I'm going here, and in my head, I know I have the Rampaging Baloth. I could go for that, but I believe I'm just going to go for Uro. Get him into the... Actually, I don't want to get him into the bin because of the Grafdigger's Cage. That was one play that I had to keep wary in my head, especially so early on. So just trying to draw. I do get a draw. I get a forest onto the battlefield. So now Rampaging Baloth is castable. I believe here I can just get a Life from the Loam, put it into the bin, and start dredging away.
So you're doing better than Tron. Turn 2, 6 mana.
Oh, it feels amazing. Well, because, I mean, modern Tron doesn't have all this stuff. I wish it did. Oh, well, man, okay. It's good it doesn't. It's one of my favorites. But Allosaur Shepherd coming up from Bad Kitty. And here, it looks like everyone's just getting a lot of dorks, a lot of their mana established. What do you think about this at the moment?
Pretty good. And everybody, like you said, is doing just building up their board. I unfortunately missed Atlanta, which really sucks for me because I'm pretty heavy lands deck. But playing a Rule of Law effect to slot on the table, become arch enemy as I do.
Pylon of Verdict, pretty good. And it looks like 2 of the decks here in me and Bad Kitty are really going for beatdowns, especially after this Rampaging Baloth. So having a 1/4 is pretty good, but I got a really good start early on. Now I have a board that can pressure through Rule of Law.
Yeah, I mean, that's 10 damage right there, plus anytime you get a land, it's pretty good. Which even Aura could come out next turn if she wanted to.
That's true, yeah. Put him back in the command zone, he can draw me a card. Gave me some life. Life gain actually looking like it's going to be pretty relevant, given the board state at the moment, but Bad Kitty contemplating what to do here. Could tutor out for Rocco, decides to just get his creature count up, get a 2-drop into play that he could sacrifice. And now, Mountain. It's missing white, unfortunately.
Yeah, notable.
Oh, Allosaur Shepherd.
He's
synergistic.
Yeah. Kind of made eye contact, and yeah, I respect it. I am a stacks deck, so it does that. Obviously, if you were paying attention to the board state, you can see that with the foothills, searching for an underground sea. Not a correct play, but yeah, one of these days we'll get a good game. But nonetheless, Dr.
Very unfortunate. Yeah, it was one that impacted the way he's doing it right now, but Exotic Orchard does tap for a blue, so it was still a possible play. It was just a misplay on getting the land. Sometimes you just think a fetch gets you anything. Forget.
Yeah, I don't think it affects it. Out of all our gameplays, this one doesn't affect the outcome of the game too much.
So now, what do you think about this? I know he chose Bad Kitty here to be the target, but when you saw these 3 cards being played out, what was your initial reaction?
Well, 2 of them kind of win the game if he has Tasses in hand, and then Toxic Deluge is board wipe. So, kind of, hard plays if your name is Bad Kitty, especially putting the Money Consultation in the back also in the graveyard is good with Kess, right? Because you can just cast them with Kess eventually.
Yeah, so it's an instant or sorcery, and he did pick all instants or sorceries, so these are going to be able to actually be cast. Unfortunately, Grafdigger's Cage for Dr. Vuski not really allowing that. So he's going to have to try to find another way, but this Eidolon of Rhetoric is getting in his way of being able to combo off. So Toxic Deluge, pretty good.
Yep, that's what he got at the end, so I am pretty effed out of this game. 2 mana. It is suboptimal, yeah. Passing the
Thankfully, you do still have a Hushbringer.
Yeah.
Notably, so.
Which I didn't play.
Time.
Notably, I did not play it. Yeah, because or I didn't want you to get live, and keep him in the battlefield. So I time block myself on purpose.
That makes sense. I think it's a good play because here I just decide to bin Uro. I believe I either drew an interaction or I was thinking it's such a pain for everyone else. This is going to be answered eventually, so I'm going to keep Uro here, and once it's gone, we can start getting the game plan going. But
yeah, I will say though, Uro. Oh my lord! So I played Modern when Uro and Oko were legal, and it was such a nightmare. Cards they were horrible, especially since I'm a John player. It is you just lose. You just lose when you see Uro and Oko.
Oh, I love Simic so much. It's great. Best color combination. I didn't play Modern then, but I actually did play Modern when I had Gitaxian Probe and Infect. That was amazing, knowing when I was safe to go.
Yeah, I guess that was you could tell for becoming Mets as well, but we're not playing Modern right now. We are playing Commander.
We're playing Commander. Do meld though. I actually have seen more players come over to EDH, more specifically CEDH, because they kind of want to get a different format and pretty high power at this point, but good pace so far.
For sure. I finally played the Hushbringer that you mentioned earlier from my opening hand. This Oro is already in the graveyard, he can't be escaped. I'm not really worried about the Rocco or the cast at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Hushbringer does shut down the Rocco as well, so.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So both 2 really impactful stack pieces, almost keeping the whole game together. It's almost like these stack pieces just the glue to not having this game get out of hand.
Yeah, notably, I'm missing 2 lands, and so is Bad Kitty, so very so.
Yes, Bad Kitty notably does not have white in his mana pool in terms of lands, but does have a Birds of Paradise, so Rocco is available to be cast. We'll see what Bad Kitty does here, because there are options. He isn't completely shut out, but decides to go for a Ragavan.
Yeah, and he stashes at me, and by the way, I know horrible block by me, horrible. He bet me, and I, as a gentleman, you can't be like, bet you won't block. I will absolutely bet.
Yeah, you can't say it out loud to someone. That's the
monkey brain.
Yeah, you almost dare someone, you won't block it. But I think Bad Kitty kind of wants it because both of your pieces shut him down. So it's a trade-off. He's a turn behind essentially, but he got rid of a stacks piece that's preventing him from winning. So.
Yeah, and I guess I top decked the land, so he was gonna get my land, which is not.
That would have been unfortunate.
Yeah, so.
Unfortunately, Dr. Vuski, we haven't really talked too much on his turns, but it's mostly just been put a land down, either Grim Monoliths, get some kind of mana and pass. You go for a Rule of Law here, and he goes for an offer he can't refuse. So now you have access to mana, which is notable.
Yeah.
I go for Force of Vigor. I think it's about time. I think I drew that a turn ago, I believe, and I was just waiting till it passed to me because I really didn't want anyone else to get the benefits of Grafdigger's Cage being gone. And I decided to go for Dr. Vuski's mana vaults because I can hit 2 things, and hitting Bad Kitty's Crypt at this point really isn't doing too much. So I decide to let that slide. I don't want the mana from Dr. Vuski. But now I can actually play Uro. Comes back from the grave.
So I think that's the 3rd time you played Uro, right? You played him once and twice from your command zone, and then this is the 3rd time from the graveyard.
Yes.
If I was playing Modern, I've already lost.
Comes back. He gains you 3. Oh yeah, he just negates your bolts.
Yeah.
He's 6 power, so...
Gains you life, draws you card, rams you, get another land, bounce with the Simic.
Just hoping to fetch push. Thankfully, that's not in this format. I don't have to worry about a fetch push, but I do get to play my own Rule of Law effect, Arcane Laboratory. You can even see Dr. Vuski looks over and he's like, "Man, I just countered this."
Yeah,
play
I guess.
it again.
You know, retrospectively, like this is a really bad pot for Kess, right? Not only like I had stacks it turn 1, and then like there's continuous stacks pieces being played turn after turn.
Yeah, I agree, and I also run Null Rod effects. I don't run too many stacks, but Bad Kitty actually went for Finale Devastation. You're taking advantage of the fact that Grafdigger stays going, but Flusterstorm hits the Finale Devastation. I could see why. I mean, it could go get a 3-drop, and then from there, Rocco's open to win the game, or some other combo piece. I'm not going to say I'm an expert on Rocco, but I know that given that creature 1 3-drop is insane.
For sure. So another land. Forest. I believe if you remember my opening hand, I have an austere command, and I think that's what I go to. Retrospectively, probably should have gone for something better, like playing Karametra, so I can actually ramp out the game and do something. I am taking 2 mana away that I have available to me. But yeah, austere command, targeting creatures with power 3 and less. Essentially, I take Bad Kitty out of the game, and I take out your...
Destroy artifacts as well.
Yeah. So take out Dr. Vuski's mana and you Crucible World plus Mock Salmon.
Yeah, and we were just talking about that Flusterstorm hit, where it was a good hit, but I don't know if he was expecting an austere command. Mm-hmm. Flusterstorm there probably would have kept Dr. Vuski and Bad Kitty in this game. But at this point, thankfully, enchantments are not gone, so the Rule of Law effect is still in play, and I can recast Uro.
God.
51 life. Feels good.
It just keeps coming back. Mm-hmm. Man, so much value.
Homeward Path, so unfortunate. Not that white that he needed, but he's safe from Gilded Drakes if at any point someone decides to do that. Worldly Tutor, okay, this could actually get him something pretty good. I believe he goes for Imperial Recruiter, if I remember. And yeah. What were you going to say about Imperial?
Well, no, that helps him tutor through his deck, right? Get him, like, I don't know, whatever he needs. So another mana dork if he needs it, or potentially, combo, or, Reclamation Sage to get rid of the stacks piece. So
that's true.
It opens the door for a lot of different things, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking probably Felidar Guardian and then blink it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
Go get Kiki Jiki. But that's relying on him drawing the lands and the correct ones. But Dr. Vuski dashes into Ragavan. He could attack Synergistic, but it's just too good of an opportunity to take that away. And, I guess on Bad Kitty's end, it might have been beneficial for him to wait on my turn and then Worldly Tutor, so he got his creature immediately and his deck couldn't have been manipulated.
Sure, yeah. Turn order, or not turn order, but, timing of abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, I don't believe he was expecting. I also don't believe that he thought he was going to be the target, but yeah. I did have a blocker, so he was unable to get me. Another Uro trigger, put a Breeding Pool onto the battlefield, untapped because we have 51 life, and pass into Bad Kitty. So at this point in the game, given the board state now, and just what everyone has played so far, how are you thinking of taking over the game, or at least
I am
getting
so
control?
unbelievably behind. I think this game was kind of decided by the 4th or trigger. From when I'm sitting, that's what I'm thinking, because we're so behind. We are equally behind, and Dr. Vuski keeps going after Bad Kitty, even though you're wide open.
Kitty. I was surprised by that because he could have. I was open, but I believe he wanted a mana dork and just forgot about the Arcane Laboratory and that he couldn't cast it.
Yeah. So if you're paying attention, you realize that both Bad Kitty and I drew and then passed. We did nothing. We were kind of time blocked. Well,
You guys are just missed lands.
Yeah, I miss land drops and I have a bunch of 5 drops in my hand, and I do not know what's in Bad Kitty's hand.
Missing lands across from a landfall deck too.
Yeah,
it just hurts. But I play an AC here, and AC is the fuel that will drive me to getting the rest of my pieces that I need to win, especially if the tempo and the pace of the game keeps going at this rate. So yeah, I was really excited to play that one.
It really helps you out, right? Because it's like everyone's only playing one spell turn. You're drawing 2 cards per turn with Uro, right? One per turn, then one with Uro. Now AC is going to help you draw an additional one if you have a land drop.
Yes, and if it's a fetch land, it's going to draw me 2.
Yeah, so cards too good, man. Man, all those Uro really triggers.
Yeah, a lot of triggers. There's a Misty Rainforest onto the battlefield, so we get another trigger on the AC.
Yep.
And here at this point, my hand's just getting refueled. I crack the fetch land just to draw another card. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I got the best board by a good margin on the field. It's just maintaining it with this rule of law in play. So it's just fishing for counter magic at this point. But...
yeah, or a big finisher that can, kind of win you the game. Like that one.
Mm-hmm. Cultivator Colossus, yes. Allows me to just draw, put a land, repeat, and go through that process. And then I also get the triggers from AC as well. So yeah, it's pretty great. This lets me draw into all of those things. We skipped over it. As you can see, a lot of lands are put onto the battlefield. And I am just proceeding to discard at this point, just keeping everything that I have. So
yeah, and just to note, just for all those of you watching, the AC triggers will go on the stack after the Cultivator Colossus ability concludes.
Yes.
All those will happen at the stack. We have to look it up because they look pretty broken. But yeah, so Cultivator abilities will go on the stack, that will finish, and then all of the AC triggers will happen. And now we're just showing you discarding down hand size because you drew like a zillion cards.
Yeah, it was a really tedious process of like, where's my land? Put it onto the battlefield, draw, and then afterwards I also had to draw after all the times that AC gave me. So I ended up putting that. They all come into play tapped, so that Fatal Passage I couldn't crack it. Can keep digging, but I'm content with what I have. Bad Kitty, unfortunately, just passes again.
Yeah, that's
really
your
didn't change.
Turn. Austere Command really took him out of the game. Kind of took me out of the game too. Unfortunately, I was kind of hoping to draw more lands, but it's not over until it's over, right? Still got a fighting chance against the Nura deck.
With I think this Cultivator Colossus is like 20 something.
Yeah, it looks like it's 17. Just a die, but I mean, still, I'm still dead to it.
It's close. It's close. Muddle the Mixture. Transmute, so it's an ability that gets underneath the Rule of Law effect, and Dr. Vuski just says, "Screw it! I'm done dealing with this board. I'm gonna try to win with Thassa's Oracle."
Gotta give man props.
You go for Curse Totem here, and Bad Kitty attempts to Pyroblast my Uro, but I have a slip out the back, so just phase it out. It comes in with a +1/+1 counter, which is actually, decently relevant at this point because it turns Uro's commander damage clock from 4 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it does allow me to lose out, or like it basically grants me an extra turn if I focus down one player with Uro. So I was like, okay, it's not terrible. Go for the Fatal Passage because I might as well just thin out the deck. Draw cards. And the Rule of Law in this case, Dr. Vusi actually did play really well around it. He made sure that I casted a lot of my spells before or after, so that way I wasn't able to respond with counter magic. So he almost had like the upper hand. He just waited for me to do something. And that was a pretty good play by him. I go for Otawara on your Beast Whisper actually, because I wanted to have enough to kill you and to also go after Dr. Vuski. But you go for Heroic Intervention, and I believe this is when I'm just like, okay, it's we got some interaction and it wasn't really a counter spell, so I got to fish out a little bit of what everyone was gonna do. And Finale of Devastation for 10. I don't have a Crater Hoof in this deck because it really doesn't win that way, so I'm mostly just going for utility creature at this point. But if this does resolve, hopefully, Dr. Vuski does have, I think that's 3 mana open, correct?
Yeah,
it's 2 treasures.
2 treasures and an underground city. Mm-hmm. So man, this is
The legally fetched underground.
Yeah.
He could have got it some last time, but
Yeah,
Finale Devastation. I think it's just contemplating what I'm gonna get, and I go for Endurance because actually Dr. Vuski did Intuition and didn't put a lot of scary things into his bin. There's no more Grafdigger's Cage, and he has Kess out. So
yeah, I think this is where you kind of shut him out of the game too, right? Because with Kess, he can do something to the extent where he can potentially win, I guess, on his turn.
Yeah, and especially if he has pieces of interaction like removal, he can use them on one turn at instant speed on my turn, and then with Kess, reuse it again, and now I have to use multiple pieces of interaction, and it just slows it down and allows you guys to somewhat build up or hit those cards that you need to take me out.
Yeah, so now you creatures get +10/+10. I think Endurance has haste. You get +10/+10 and +X+X+8, right? Haste, right?
Yes, so they all get +10/+10. It's I did Finale Devastation where X is equal to 10. Sure. So I just did the minimum to get the amount of damage that I needed.
Yeah, so we're working through an Euro Trigger. I am super dead. I'm so dead. I am dead.
Yeah, Euro Trigger, AC, and I guess my reasoning towards going at you more aggressively is I would force something out from Dr. Vuski because he still is dead with the trample on board. So I'm able to pressure him and get something out. And he does have a March of Swirling Mist to phase out my Cultivator Colossus, and I kill you. I thought you might have a board wipe. I mean, you showed one already, and I know Toxic Deluge is at the bottom of Dr. Vuski's, but that was my reasoning behind it. I just thought you were the most likely to board wipe.
Well, I'm flattered. So Karametra has been taken out of the gauntlet, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Karametra did really well in the last one. And I think Karametra had really good... you had really good stacks pieces. You were able to shut out the board, but I just think Uro was able to get underneath and really accrue the value and get out of the game. So, Endurance, shuffling everything into my grave, or at the bottom of my library.
Yeah, it's one way to deal with Uro. Step 1.
Okay. At end step, I decide to Pongify the Kess, just to make sure. If he wants to play another action, March or Swirly Mist or something, he'll have to play Kess first.
Yeah.
At this point, the game, unless Dr. Ruski gets some miracle or he's able to win somehow by taking out the Arcane Laboratory, because he does have Thassa's in hand. I was still scared of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many cards that win the game with a rule of law effect, and your hand being stacked with counter magic too. Right? Like there's
Time Twister, something that could really fetch things out, but I decided to go for a Swan Song. That is our one interaction per turn, which is great whenever you have something that'll give you passive damage, and also it's passive card advantage while all pressuring the board, which is really, really good because you get into these stalemate situations and you're able to push through.
Yeah, because you don't need to be casting spells. You got Uro drawing your cards, getting your life, ramping you, right? So all you need is just, turn your card sideways, essentially.
Just draw into the counter magic and eventually beat them down.
Yeah.
Goes for Snap on my Cultivator Colossus. Pretty good. I went through most of the decks most of the lands in my deck at this point. So it's not really gonna have the same effect. It won't come in with the same power, but this is a lot of damage coming at Dr. Vusi. He does have 2 blockers, so he has another turn. Earl Trigger, I don't think I really have any more lands, so I don't think I'm going to be putting them on.
Gain 3 life. Doesn't hurt.
No, it's very bad. It's the whole game plan is just drawing to those counter spells.
Yeah.
So, Bad Kitty, I don't really see a way of him... I'm obviously going after Dr. Vuski first, but Bad Kitty really has to, pull something great. Windswept Heath, so he's able to actually go get his red mana or his white mana at this point. Rocco can be cast, and I just had to go for a Mystical Tutor on top.
Yeah, this will help you get your win con, right?
Yes, yeah, I decided to get Walk the Aeons.
Bad Kitty finally got his white source, so whoop. Step 1.
And I believe I had a Crop Rotation in my hand as well that I was going to fetch out with for Mystic Sanctuary. So I'm just trying to set up for return for win.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, once you tap, you kind of take infinite turns. So Becky probably won't likely have a turn. Dr. Whiskey's, Hail Mary fetch for, I guess.
Underground Sea?
Yeah. Volcanic. Pulls out a Scrubland or Savannah.
Yeah, that would have been funny if you got to Savannah and we just,
Okay,
it works. They switched them. But 15 life, really can't add Nas to try to find anything, especially with Rule of Law. Preordained, so he's really looking for...
Sick art.
That is that is an amazing art. I can't read anything that it does. Oh, scry 2, draw. Okay, all right, now I can, yeah. And Dr. Vuski always has the most like pimped out decks.
Most meme cards too. Yeah, so you turn your creature sideway and Dr. Vuski, no blocks, will more than likely die here. Yep, it's KO'd.
At this point, I fumble around with my islands because I'm like, which ones do I want to sacrifice? And we just sacrifice 3, you dummy. And I cast Walk the Aeons that I tutored for. So I don't have Mystic Sanctuary right now, but I also saw that it really wasn't needed because at this point I had enough turns to kill Bad Kitty and just go through that, and I had the fetch for it anyway, so pretty good. Bad Kitty concedes and Uro wins through a very grindy Staxy matchup.
Good job to Uro. Very, very cool deck. As you know, I'm not a fan of the Uro, but he did his job. It's pretty good Simic value. I mean, you can't just take it away from it. It's like it does its job very well. It's resilient.
Resilient?
Yeah, that's the word.
Nice. Yeah, I agree, and I think it might have just been a bad matchup, but I also thought that Karametra being the returning deck was able to control the table for the early part of that game. I feel like you were missing your land drops, you had some of the most impactful permanents hit the board.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely took on a player with me, so haha. Karametra.
I did my job.
Karametra will wave goodbye and pass the gauntlet to Uro, which we'll be seeing the next live deck that we do. We'll see that next month.
The next Mystery Commander Theater.
Oh, yeah. That's not a spell table game, yeah.
Yes, that is not spell.
But yeah, I guess, we look forward to, seeing Uro come back again next time around. Too bad we didn't get to see much of Rocco. I think I definitely helped. I helped with that, for better or for worse. I was getting some dirty looks across the table from my kitty. And I think Dr. Buski did a good job navigating Kess to the best he could with all the sax pieces, right? So credit to all the players there.
Yeah, it was just really tough, and I know we didn't make a good case for it, given the last couple of videos just been stacks. But if you would like to play with us on Spell Table, you can just hit us up in our Discord. Link will be in the description down below, along with our other social media. We usually don't play too many stacks decks, so there's usually not even a stacks deck, so don't feel like it's not going to be a good time. But
it's the Wild West when we play.
It is.
But yeah, I guess thanks everybody for watching. Tune in next time for some more Mystery Commander Theater.
Yeah, catch you next time.
Stay basic. Bye.